In this demonstration, let's have a quick look at getting started with a storage account in Windows Azure. When you have your Azure-based subscription, you have two main choices with respect to how you might want to store data. You have the option there for a SQL database, and the other choice is simply the storage account. In some cases, you simply don't need the structured relational type of storage that a database gives you. So a storage account allows you to just have various types of data storage requirements, and we'll have a look at what those three options are once we create the account. So I just have to choose storage account here, and I've just got a sample one that was created earlier, so we're just going to ignore that and go ahead and create a new one. So we're just going to click on the new option here, and it goes straight into our storage, and the only option here is quick create. There's no gallery or anything like that. So we're just going to choose the quick create, and all you have to do here is just give it a name. Now, what you want to take note of right here, a couple of things. The URL, if I type in for starters a capital letter, it will tell us that it only takes lowercase letters and numbers. So we're just going to back that up for a second. But note what the URL here is going to be as well. See how it says star.core.windows.net. That star is going to represent the three types of storage that you can have within a storage account. And one of them is tables, one of them is blobs, and one of them is queues. So that star represents each one of those three types of accounts. Down under this option here for replication, geo-redundant. This option here gives you the choice of locally redundant or geo-redundant, and each option still gives you redundancy, so there are multiple copies of whatever you store, but geo-redundant will actually spread it across the Azure data centers. So you not only get redundancy of data, but redundancy of the entire site itself. Locally redundant is a little bit cheaper, but you only get redundant copies within the same site, so it doesn't protect you against an entire site failure. So whatever you feel is the best choice there. I'm just going to leave it as the default for now of geo-redundant. The affinity group, again, is with respect to where you want to have it with respect to the locations. I created one earlier, but let's just maybe put this in one of the location groups there. So we'll find out a little bit later on what that results in with respect to storing the data in each location. So that's all we have to do is give it a name now. So let's just call this my new storage account. And that will just validate that that name is not in use. And we just have to click on create. Now that shouldn't take very long to go ahead and create that. But while it's doing so, just a couple of quick things. Again, the three types of storage, tables, blobs, and queues, each one of those has their appropriate uses, and we'll go through those later on. But what we're going to see once this gets created is simply the fact that we now have a place to store data in whatever fashion that we need to. So now that that's created, we're going to have a quick look at some of the properties. So we just have to click on this, and you can see that we've got our dashboard, our monitor, our configure, and our containers option with respect to what we can store within there. So let's quickly have a look at the dashboard first, and there are the URLs that I was referencing a second ago. Blobs are stored in my new DP storage account .blob.core.windows.net, and then this one is table, and then this one is queue. So each one of those, again, is accessible through that location. And over here on the right-hand side, we'll see there's the actual location that we specified for the data center. And then our replication is enabled. And you can see that the secondary region is set there by default. Now, that's not for us to manage as users. That's Microsoft and Windows Azure implementing failover strategies so that should this entire site fail, then we've got the backup site ready to go. So our data is very highly available, and this tells us when it was replicated. Of course, we just created it, but once you do a replication, then that will actually show you the status of that. So From that point, if we just go to the containers option here, we can see that there's nothing in here with respect to containers. So we'll create containers later on, but there's some other configuration options we can do as well, wherein you can change some of the properties that you might have decided to go with when you created it. So we can actually kick it back to locally redundant if we want to. And again, that actually does save you a bit of money on your subscription. Monitoring for tables, blobs, and queues, again, all of them are off right now, but we can set some monitoring levels once we have something created later on. And then there's logging that we can see here for each of these options as well. So we are set to go now with respect to creating tables, blobs, and queues, and we'll have a look at that later on. But for the time being, we have our storage account created, and now we can start making use of some of the storage capabilities within Windows Azure.